The sound of champagne glasses clinking should have been the happiest noise I'd ever heard. Instead, it became the soundtrack to my entire world falling apart. I stood in the doorway of the hospital conference room, wearing the navy dress I'd saved 3 months to buy. The dress was for Derek's graduation party. My husband. The man I'd worked 2 jobs to support through 8 years of medical school and residency. Today he finally became Dr. Derek Patterson, and I was so proud I could burst. But I never made it past that doorway. "Man, you must feel incredible," someone said. I recognized the voice as Tyler, one of Derek's colleagues. "Finally done with all of it. You have no idea." That was Derek's voice, filled with a lightness I hadn't heard in years. "I'm free. Actually free." I smiled, thinking he meant free of the stress and studying. I was about to walk in when I heard her laugh. Tessa. The pharmaceutical rep who'd been hanging around the hospital for the past year. My stomach tightened, but I told myself I was being paranoid. "So when are you going to do it?" Tessa asked. Her voice was sweet, sickeningly so. "Tonight," Derek answered. "I'm going to hand her the papers right here at the party. She'll sign them. She's too tired to fight anything anymore." My hand gripped the doorframe. "Papers? What papers?" "That's cold, man," Tyler said, but he was laughing. "At your own graduation party? Why wait? I've carried dead weight for 8 years. 8 years of coming home to someone who smells like restaurant grease and cleaning chemicals. 8 years of pretending I didn't mind that my wife looked exhausted and old at 32. Now I've got my MD, I'm getting offers from top hospitals, and Tessa here doesn't mind being seen with a successful doctor." Tessa giggled. The sound made me want to throw up. "She put you through school though," another voice said. "I think it was Jeff. That's got to count for something." "She worked jobs anyone could work," Derek said dismissively. "Meanwhile, I was the one actually doing something with my life. She'll be fine. She can go back to her little jobs and her little life, and I can finally start living mine. Besides, she's so beaten down she won't even argue. Watch. She'll sign and disappear, and I'll be free to actually enjoy my success." The laughter that followed was cruel and sharp. I heard Tessa say something about how Derek deserved someone on his level now. More laughter. More agreement. I don't remember deciding to walk in. My body just moved. The room went quiet when they saw me. Derek's face went pale, then red, then settled into something cold and hard. "Naomi," he said like my name tasted bad. "You're early." "I heard everything," I said quietly. My voice didn't shake. That surprised me. Every single word. Tessa had the nerve to smirk. She was pressed against Derek's side, her hand on his chest like she owned him. Maybe she did now. Maybe she had for a while. Derek reached into his jacket and pulled out a manila envelope. "Then this will be easy," he said. He walked over and held it out to me. "Sign it. Tonight. Let's not drag this out." I took the envelope. My hands were steady. Inside were divorce papers already filled out. He planned this. Calculated it. Probably had Tessa help him pick the day for maximum impact. "Where do I sign?" I asked. That surprised him. His eyes widened slightly. "What? Where? Do I sign?" I repeated louder this time. The room was completely silent now. 20 people watching my marriage end. He pointed to the lines and I signed my name on each one. Naomi Brooks. Not Naomi Patterson. I'd never legally changed it because I'd been too busy working to pay for his dreams to have time for paperwork. That felt like a gift from the universe now. I handed the papers back to him. "Congratulations on your graduation, Derek. And congratulations on your freedom." I turned to leave, then stopped. I looked back at all of them. At Derek, who looked confused that I wasn't crying. At Tessa, who looked almost disappointed that there wasn't more drama. At Tyler and Jeff and all the others who'd laughed at me. "You're right about one thing," I said to Derek. "I'm tired. So tired. I'm tired of being treated like I'm nothing. Like the last 8 years of my life meant nothing. Like my work, my sacrifice, my love was all worthless." I smiled, and it wasn't a nice smile. "But you're wrong about something too. You think I'll disappear because I'm beaten down. I'm going to disappear because you're not worth another second of my life. Enjoy your party, doctor." I walked out of that room, out of that hospital, and out of Derek's life. I walked past the decorations I'd helped pay for, past the cake I'd ordered, past the life I'd built on quicksand. When I got to my car, my phone rang. "Derek." I answered. "Naomi, wait. Come back inside. We can talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about," I said. "You wanted your freedom. You have it. I want mine too. Don't be dramatic. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You need me." I hung up. Then I turned off my phone and drove. By morning I'd be gone. Really gone. And Derek Patterson would learn that dead weight can walk away and never look back. The first thing I did was stop at an ATM. At 2 in the morning, in a parking lot outside a 24-hour diner, I transferred every penny from our joint account into my personal one. $42,000. Money I'd saved from my 2 jobs. Derek's student loans had taken everything else. He'd contributed exactly nothing to that account in 8 years. I wasn't stealing. I was taking what was mine. The second thing I did was quit both my jobs. I sent emails to the restaurant manager and the office cleaning supervisor. Short, professional, immediate. No 2 weeks notice. I was done being professional with people who'd never seen me as anything but a warm body filling a shift. The third thing I did was book a one-way flight to Seattle. I picked Seattle because it was as far from Chicago as I could get without leaving the country. Also because I'd never been there and neither had Derek. He knew nobody there. I'd be invisible. I sat in that diner until dawn, drinking coffee I didn't taste, eating eggs I didn't want. My phone was still off. When I finally turned it on, the messages flooded in. Derek, Naomi, where are you? Your car is gone. Derek, this is childish. Come home so we can discuss this like adults. Derek, I'm calling the police if you don't answer. Derek, fine. Run away. You always were weak. I blocked his number. Then I blocked Tessa's number, which had started sending messages too, weirdly nice ones about how Derek was just stressed, and I should give him space to adjust. I blocked every number connected to Derek. His mother. His brother. His friends. 47 numbers total. Deleted social media. Changed my email. Got a new phone number. By the time my flight left at noon, Naomi Patterson had ceased to exist. Naomi Brooks, however, was just getting started. Seattle was gray and rainy when I landed. Perfect. I found a cheap apartment in a neighborhood called Fremont, a studio above a coffee shop. It cost half what our Chicago place had cost. The landlord asked for first month, last month, and security. I paid in cash. For 2 weeks I did nothing but sleep and walk. I walked through Pike Place Market. I walked along the waterfront. I walked until my feet hurt and my mind stopped screaming. I let myself feel everything. The betrayal. The humiliation. The rage. And underneath it all, something I hadn't expected. Relief. I was free too. By week 3 I started planning. I had money but it wouldn't last forever. I needed work but I was done breaking my back for minimum wage. I enrolled in online classes at the University of Washington. Business administration. If Derek could go to school, so could I. But I'd pay for mine myself. I got a job at a hospital. Not cleaning this time. Administrative assistant in the operations department. It paid twice what the cleaning job had paid and I wore nice clothes and worked at a desk. My boss, Gina, was a black woman in her 50s who looked at my resume and then looked at me. You worked 2 full-time jobs for 8 years? She asked. Yes, ma'am. Supporting a husband through medical school? I nodded. And he divorced you the day he graduated? I blinked. How did you know? She tapped my application. You listed your availability as immediately and your reason for leaving as personal emergency. Plus you've got that look. The look that says you just escaped something. She smiled. Good for you. You're hired. Start Monday. I cried in my car. Happy tears for once. 6 months in Seattle became a year. I took 4 classes per semester, worked full-time, and slowly rebuilt myself. I made exactly one friend, a woman named Amara who worked in hospital billing. She was funny and kind and never asked questions I didn't want to answer. We had lunch together twice a week. I didn't date. Didn't even think about it. Men would try talking to me at coffee shops or in the grocery store, and I'd smile politely and walk away. I wasn't ready. Maybe I'd never be ready. That was okay too. 1 year became 2. I finished my bachelor's degree. Gina promoted me to operations coordinator. I got my own apartment, a 1-bedroom with windows that let in actual sunlight. I bought furniture that I picked out. I hung pictures I liked. I became someone I recognized. But Derek kept trying to find me. I knew because every few months I'd get a friend request from a profile with no picture. Or someone would message Amara asking about me. I'd blocked him everywhere, but he was persistent. Each attempt made me angrier. He'd thrown me away, but he couldn't stand that I'd stayed gone. 2 years became 3. I was 35, finishing my MBA and getting ready for another promotion. Gina was retiring and she'd recommended me for operations director. The job came with a salary that would have seemed impossible 3 years ago. My life was good. Small but good. Quiet but mine. And then Derek found me. The thing about starting over is that nobody tells you how exhausting it is. Not the physical exhaustion, though that's real enough. It's the emotional exhaustion of building yourself into someone new while grieving who you used to be. In my 3rd year in Seattle, I stopped grieving. The MBA program was harder than I'd expected. Late nights studying financial management and strategic planning, early mornings at the hospital, trying to prove I deserved Gina's job. But for the first time in my adult life, I was working for myself. Every late night was mine. Every achievement belonged to me alone. "You look different," Amara said one Tuesday at lunch. We were at our usual spot, a Thai place near the hospital. "Good different." "Different how?" "You smile with your eyes now. When you first got here, you smiled with just your mouth. Like you were practicing what happiness looked like." She bit into her spring roll. "Now it reaches your eyes." I thought about that. She was right. Somewhere between years 2 and 3, the weight had lifted. Not completely, but enough that I could breathe without it hurting. "I got the promotion," I told her. She squealed so loud the whole restaurant turned to look. "Director? Really? Gina told me yesterday. It's official next month. We're celebrating. Tonight. I'm taking you out and you're not allowed to say no." That night, Amara dragged me to a wine bar in Capitol Hill. It was the first time in 3 years I'd been anywhere social that wasn't work-related. The place was nice, full of people my age laughing and talking. I felt out of place at first, like I'd forgotten how to exist in spaces meant for enjoyment. "You need to start living again," Amara said, sipping her red wine. "Working and studying isn't living." "I'm happy," I protested. "I didn't say you weren't. But you're happy like a monk is happy. Peaceful and isolated. You're 35, gorgeous, successful, and you act like you're in witness protection." She wasn't wrong. In 3 years I'd built a solid life, but it was a small one. Work, school, home, sleep, repeat. No hobbies beyond walking. No interest beyond my career. No dates, no friends besides Amara, no messiness. "I like my life," I said. "It's safe." Safe is good. But safe plus joyful is better. I thought about that conversation for days. Was I living or just existing? I'd been so focused on being different from the desperate, exhausted woman Derek had discarded that I'd forgotten to figure out who I wanted to be beyond not her. So I started saying yes to things. Small things. Amara invited me to her book club. I went. The hospital had a volunteer program teaching kids about healthcare careers. I signed up. I took it. Cooking class at a community center because I'd never learned to cook anything interesting while working 2 jobs. Each small yes felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. Not the old Naomi who'd martyred herself for someone else's dreams. A new Naomi who had her own dreams. The promotion to operations director came through in September. I had my own office with my name on the door. Director Naomi Brooks. I stood in that office on my first day and cried. Not sad tears. Proud ones. Gina stopped by before she left for her retirement party. "You earned this," she said. "Never forget that. You walked in here 3 years ago looking like you'd been through hell, and you rebuilt yourself into this. That takes strength most people don't have." "Thank you," I said. "For everything. For taking a chance on me." "I didn't take a chance. I saw someone worth investing in." She hugged me. "Now go make this department even better than I left it." I did. I implemented new scheduling systems that improved efficiency by 30%. I created training programs for new administrators. I made the department run smoother and people noticed. The hospital CEO noticed. By December, I was being asked to present at regional healthcare conferences. My life was full in ways I'd never imagined. Work I loved. Respect I'd earned. Money in my savings account. A future that belonged to me. But Derek's calls kept coming. Not to my phone, which he didn't have the number to, but to the hospital main line asking for me. Reception would transfer him and I'd immediately hang up. He'd call back. Again and again until I had my call screened. Any call from a Chicago number went straight to voicemail. I never listened to the voicemails. There were dozens, then hundreds. 200 messages I'd never hear. I blocked it out. He was the past. I was the future. And then, on a rainy Thursday in March, my past walked through my office door. Security called my office first. "Director Brooks, there's a man here demanding to see you. Says he's your husband. Should I send him up?" My blood went cold. "What does he look like?" "Tall black man, 30s, looks rough. Kind of desperate." "Derek, do not send him up," I said firmly. "I don't have a husband. Remove him from the building." "Will do." He says he'll wait outside then. That's his choice. If he harasses anyone, call the police. My hands shook as I hung up. 3 years. 3 whole years and he'd found me. Oh, I'd been so careful. New number, new email, new life. How had he tracked me down? The answer came later that day from IT. Derek had accessed the hospital network database using his credentials from Chicago. Hospital systems talked to each other, shared information. He'd searched every major hospital in every major city until he found me listed as Director of Operations in Seattle. That's illegal, I said to Tom from IT. Extremely. Want to report it? Yes. File whatever needs to be filed. But filing reports didn't make Derek go away. For the next week he was everywhere. Sitting in his car outside the hospital when I left work. Standing across the street from my apartment building. Following me to the grocery store but keeping his distance. He never approached directly. He knew I'd call the police. But his presence was a message. I found you. I'm not leaving. On day 8 he was waiting by my car when I left work at 6. I stopped 10 feet away and pulled out my phone. I'm calling security. Wait, please. Just 5 minutes. No. Naomi, I'm begging you. 5 minutes. Then I'll leave. He looked terrible. The Derek I'd left had been polished and proud. This Derek was thin, unshaven, wearing a wrinkled shirt. His eyes were red and his hands shook. Good, I thought viciously. You have 2 minutes, I said, finger hovering over the call button. Starting now. I made a mistake. The biggest mistake of my life. Tessa left me. She took everything, cleaned out my accounts, and left. My career is falling apart. I'm struggling at work. I lost my position at the hospital, and I'm working at a clinic making half what I should. I'm drowning, and I realize now that you were the only good thing I ever had. He expected sympathy. I could see it in his face. He thought his suffering would soften me, make me remember the love I used to feel. But I felt nothing. Not satisfaction at his downfall. Not pity for his struggles. Nothing at all. Your 2 minutes are up, I said. Did you hear what I said? I lost everything. Tessa used me and left. I need help. I need you. No, you need someone to fix your life. That's not the same thing. We were married for 8 years. That has to mean something. It meant something. Then you handed me divorce papers at your graduation party and called me dead weight. You laughed about me with your colleagues. You couldn't wait to be free of me. I stepped closer and he actually backed up. Well, you're free. You've been free for 3 years. What you don't get to do is come back now that your life fell apart and expect me to care. I was stupid. I was arrogant. I didn't know what I had. You knew exactly what you had. You just didn't value it. That's different. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I tried to call you, tried to find you. I must have called 200 times. I know. I saw the missed calls. I ignored every one of them. His face crumpled. You knew I was trying to reach you? Yes. And you ignored me deliberately? Yes. How could you be so cold? I laughed and it was bitter. Cold? You want to talk about cold? You divorced me in front of a room full of people after I spent 8 years supporting you. You moved your mistress in before the ink was dry on the papers. You told strangers I was worthless. And now you're calling me cold because I won't drop everything to save you? That's rich, Derek. That's really rich. I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I'm asking anyway. Please, can we talk? Really talk? We are talking. And we're done. I walked past him to my car. He grabbed my arm and I spun around so fast he stumbled back. Do not ever touch me, I said. My voice was ice. You've got 5 seconds to get away from me before I scream for security. He let go, hands up. Okay. I'm sorry. I got in my car and locked the doors. He stood there watching me leave, looking lost and broken. I drove away without looking back. But Derek didn't stop. The next day there were flowers at my office. The day after, a letter slipped under my apartment door. He was escalating, getting desperate. I read the first line of the letter before throwing it away. I can't live without you. Yes, you can, I thought. You did it just fine when you had Tessa. You only can't live without me now that you're alone and struggling. It was time to make this stop permanently. The restraining order paperwork sat on my desk for 3 days before I filed it. Not because I felt sorry for Derek. I didn't. But filing it felt like admitting he still had power over me, that he could disrupt my life enough to require legal intervention. Amara disagreed. It's not about him having power. It's about you using your power to protect yourself. File it. She was right. On Monday morning, I went to the courthouse and filed for a protection order. The hearing was scheduled for the following week. But Derek wasn't waiting that long. Thursday evening, I came home from a late meeting to find him sitting on the steps outside my apartment building. It was raining and he was soaked through. He looked up when he heard my footsteps. "You're filing a restraining order against me," he said. Not a question. Yes. What? I haven't hurt you. I just want to talk. You're stalking me. That's hurting me. He stood up slowly. I deserve a chance to explain. To apologize properly. You apologized. I didn't accept it. That's how apologies work. The other person gets to decide if they're enough. Just hear me out. Really hear me. Then if you still want me gone, I'll go. I swear. I was tired. Tired of him showing up, tired of looking over my shoulder, tired of the whole situation. You have 15 minutes. Then you leave and don't come back. If you violate the restraining order, I'll have you arrested. We went to a coffee shop 2 blocks away. Public, well-lit, cameras everywhere. I sat across from him and waited. I don't know where to start, he said. Start with why you threw away 8 years of marriage. He flinched. I was an idiot. I was arrogant. Medical school made me feel important and Tessa made me feel exciting. You made me feel safe and I mistook that for boring. I was boring because I was exhausted from keeping you alive. Someone has to pay rent and buy food. That someone was me while you studied. I know that now. But back then I felt like I deserved more. I'd worked so hard, accomplished so much, and I wanted someone who felt like a reward for all that work. I was your wife, not your employee. You didn't reward me or punish me. We were partners. We weren't partners. You're right about that. You did everything and I took it for granted. I thought once I became a doctor I'd be happy. But I wasn't. I was miserable. So Tessa was supposed to fix that? I thought she would. She was exciting, beautiful, successful. She made me feel like I'd made it. Like I was the man I'd always wanted to be. He laughed bitterly. Turns out she was only interested in the money and status. Once she realized I wasn't making as much as she thought, and once she drained my accounts, she left. For another doctor. A richer one. I felt nothing. No sympathy, no satisfaction. Just tiredness. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because I want you to know I understand now. I understand what I lost. You loved me when I had nothing. You sacrificed everything for me. And I threw that away for someone who loved what I could give her, not who I was. Okay, you understand. Good for you. That doesn't change anything. It could. We could start over. You clearly forgave me enough to listen to me now. We could rebuild what we had. No, we couldn't. Because what we had was broken from the start. I loved you. You loved what I could do for you. That's not a marriage. That's servitude. I loved you too. I still do. No, you don't. You love the idea of me. You love having someone who'll sacrifice themselves for you. But you don't actually love me, Naomi Brooks, the person I am now. You don't even know who I am now. He pulled out his phone and showed me the screen. Messages. Hundreds of them. Calls. 217 missed calls to be exact. I tried so hard to reach you, he said. For 3 years I tried. I know. I saw them all. I ignored them all. Every single one? Every single one. Why? Because you didn't deserve my attention. You made it clear I wasn't worth anything to you. So why would I give you the satisfaction of responding? That's cruel, Naomi. That's fair. You were cruel first. I'm just protecting myself. He started crying then. Real tears, not manipulative ones. His whole body shook with it. People in the coffee shop were staring, but I didn't care. I can't do this anymore, he sobbed. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't focus at work. I'm falling apart without you. Please, please just give me another chance. I'll do anything. I'll go to therapy. I'll quit medicine and start over. I'll move here if that's what you want. Just please don't cut me out completely. Derek, look at me. He looked up, eyes red and desperate. I don't love you anymore. I don't hate you either. I just don't feel anything for you at all. You're a stranger who hurt me once and now you're asking me to let you hurt me again. The answer is no. What can I do? Tell me what to do to fix this. There's nothing to fix. It's over. It's been over for 3 years. You're the only one who didn't know it. I stood up. Your 15 minutes are up. Don't contact me again. Don't come to my work. Don't come to my apartment. If I see you anywhere near me, I'm calling the police. Naomi, wait. We're done. We've been done. Accept it and move on like I did. I walked out of the coffee shop and left him there. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. From anger. How dare he cry and beg and act like he was the victim? He destroyed our marriage and then had the audacity to show up years later expecting me to put him back together. The restraining order hearing was 5 days away. I couldn't wait. The hospital fundraiser was Amara's idea. You need to get out, she insisted. You've been on edge since the Derek situation. Come with me. It's for a good cause, there will be food and dancing, and maybe you'll actually remember how to have fun. I almost said no. But Amara was right. I'd been tense for weeks, jumping at shadows, wondering if Derek would show up despite my warnings. A night out sounded good. The fundraiser was at a hotel downtown, a big fancy affair for Seattle Children's Hospital. I wore a simple black dress and felt overdressed and underdressed at the same time. The room was full of doctors, administrators, donors, all dressed to impress. I don't know anyone here, I whispered to Amara. Good. Fresh start. Now smile and pretend you're having fun until you actually are. The food was good. The music was better. I was standing by the dessert table, debating between cheesecake and chocolate torte, when someone next to me said, "Get both. Life's too short for regrets." I turned and found myself looking at a man about my age, light brown skin, warm brown eyes, and a smile that felt genuine. He was tall, dressed in a sharp suit, and holding 2 plates himself. That's your strategy? I asked, smiling despite myself. Every time. I figure if I'm going to support a good cause, I might as well enjoy it thoroughly. He offered his hand. Julian Torres. Architect. I designed the new children's wing, so I'm contractually obligated to be here. Naomi Brooks. Hospital administrator. I'm here because my friend dragged me. Honest. I appreciate that. He grabbed a slice of each dessert and handed me a plate. There. Now you don't have to choose. We ended up talking for an hour. Julian was funny and easy to talk to. He asked about my job, and when I told him about my promotion to director, he actually seemed interested. He didn't lecture me or try to impress me. He just listened. So you've been in Seattle 3 years? He asked. Yes. I moved here to start over. Start over from what? If you don't mind me asking. I surprised myself by answering honestly. Bad marriage. He divorced me the day he achieved his big goal, and I realized I'd spent 8 years of my life making someone else's dreams come true while ignoring my own. That's brutal. I'm sorry. Don't be. Best thing that ever happened to me. I'm happier now than I've ever been. I believe it. You've got that energy, you know? Like you know exactly who you are and what you want. We exchanged numbers before the end of the night. Amara saw and gave me a thumbs up from across the room. He's cute, she said on the drive home. He's nice. That too. You should go out with him when he calls. If he calls. He called the next day. Then the next. We went out for coffee, then dinner, then a walk around Green Lake. Julian was easy to be with. He didn't push, didn't ask questions I wasn't ready to answer, didn't expect anything except my company. I like you, he said after our 4th date, a concert at the Symphony. I know it's fast and I don't want to scare you off, but I want you to know that I like you. As in, I'd like to see where this goes. I thought about it. About Derek showing up and turning my life upside down again. About the restraining order hearing in 2 days. About whether I was ready for this. I like you too, I said. But I need to tell you something first. I told him about Derek. Not everything, but enough. The divorce, the sudden appearance, the stalking, the restraining order. That's a lot, Julian said when I finished. Thank you for trusting me with it. I want to be honest. If we're going to do this, I need you to know what you're walking into. I appreciate that. But for what it's worth, it doesn't scare me. You handled it. You're handling it. That takes strength. Some days I don't feel very strong. Strong people never do. That's how you know it's real strength and not just bravado. The restraining order hearing was Wednesday. I showed up with printed records of Derek's calls, screenshots of his messages to the hospital, witness statements from security about him waiting outside my building. The evidence was overwhelming. Derek showed up too. He'd hired a lawyer, which surprised me. The lawyer tried to argue that Derek was just trying to reconcile, that his behavior didn't rise to the level of harassment. The judge disagreed. She granted the restraining order for 2 years. Derek was to stay at least 500 feet away from me, my home, and my workplace. He was not to contact me directly or indirectly. Violation would result in immediate arrest. Derek stood there looking shocked, like he'd expected me to withdraw the petition at the last minute. His lawyer led him out of the courtroom and I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Outside the courthouse, Julian was waiting. He'd taken the afternoon off to be there for me. How'd it go? He asked. It's over. He has to stay away. Good. You want to get out of here? Maybe do something fun to celebrate? We went to the aquarium. Spent the afternoon watching jellyfish and sea otters, eating overpriced ice cream and not talking about Derek at all. It was exactly what I needed. That night, Julian kissed me. It was gentle and careful and full of promise. When he pulled away, he smiled. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure you never regret giving me a chance. That's a big promise. I'm good at keeping promises. For the first time in years, I thought maybe I could believe him. The week after the restraining order went into effect was the first week I slept through the night in a month. No Derek lurking outside my building. No phone calls to the hospital. No more looking over my shoulder expecting him to appear. You look lighter, Julian said over lunch. We'd fallen into an easy routine of meeting up twice a week, plus weekend dates. Like someone took a backpack full of rocks off your shoulders. That's exactly what it feels like, I admitted. I didn't realize how much energy I was spending worrying about when he'd show up next. He violated the order yet? Not that I know of. Maybe it actually worked. Maybe he finally got the message. I should have known better. 3 weeks after the hearing, Derek sent a mutual acquaintance to approach me. I was leaving work when a woman I vaguely recognized from Chicago stopped me in the parking lot. Naomi? Naomi Brooks. I didn't recognize her at first. Then it clicked. Jennifer something. She'd been in Derek's study group back in medical school. Jennifer, I said carefully. What are you doing here? I'm in Seattle for a conference. I heard you worked here, so I thought I'd stop by and say hello. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Derek asked me to give you something. She held out an envelope. I didn't take it. Derek has a restraining order. He's not supposed to contact me at all. That includes through other people. Oh, I know. But he's really struggling, Naomi. He just wants you to know how sorry he is. Please just read it. For old time's sake. No. And you need to leave. If you don't, I'm calling security and reporting this as a violation of the protective order. You'd really do that? Get him arrested over a letter? Yes. Because the letter isn't the point. The point is he can't respect boundaries even when a judge tells him to. Now leave. Jennifer looked stunned. She shoved the envelope back in her purse and walked away quickly. I went straight to my office and called the police non-emergency line to report the contact. They said they'd make a note of it and suggested I call immediately if anything else happened. That night, I told Julian what happened. He's not going to stop, is he? I said. We were at his apartment, a beautiful loft in Pioneer Square with exposed brick and huge windows. Julian had made dinner, something with chicken and rosemary that smelled amazing. Some people don't know when to quit, Julian said. But you're handling it right. You reported it. You didn't engage. That's all you can do. I just want him to disappear. To go back to Chicago and leave me alone. I know. But in the meantime, you're living your life. You're not hiding. You're not letting him control you. That's a victory. He was right. I was living my life. I was dating someone wonderful. I was excelling at my job. I had friends and hobbies and a future I was excited about. Derek was an annoyance, not the center of my world. But the universe wasn't done testing me yet. 2 weeks later, Julian took me to a new restaurant in Capitol Hill. It was our 2-month anniversary and he'd made reservations somewhere fancy. I'd bought a new dress, red and fitted, and felt beautiful for the first time in years. We were halfway through our appetizers when Derek walked in. I saw him before he saw me. He was with a woman, not Tessa. This one was younger, blonde, looked uncomfortable. He was talking loudly, gesturing with his hands, clearly trying to impress her. Naomi? Julian noticed my face had gone pale. What's wrong? He's here. Derek. He just walked in. Julian's face hardened. Are you okay? Do you want to leave? No. I'm not letting him ruin this night. But Derek spotted me. His whole face changed. The fake smile for his date vanished, replaced by something hungry and desperate. He started walking toward our table. Naomi, he called out. What a coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence. He'd somehow found out where we'd be. Julian stood up, putting himself between Derek and me. You need to leave. Now. Who are you? Derek asked, looking Julian up and down. Someone who respects her enough to stay away when she asks. Try it. This is between me and my wife. Ex-wife, I said, standing up too. And you're violating your restraining order. I'm calling the police. I pulled out my phone and Derek's face went from angry to panicked. Wait, don't. Please. I didn't know you'd be here. This is a coincidence. Liar. This restaurant opened last week. We made these reservations days ago. How did you know? Derek's date had walked over looking confused. "Derek, what's going on? Who is this?" "His ex-wife," I said. "The one he has a restraining order to stay away from. I'd get out of here if I were you. He's about to be arrested." The woman's eyes went wide. She grabbed her purse and left without a word. "See what you did?" Derek said, angry now. "You ruined my date. You ruined your own date by stalking me. Now get out of here before the police arrive." I'd already dialed. The operator answered and I explained the situation calmly. They said officers were on their way. Derek realized I was serious. His face crumbled. "Naomi, please. Don't do this. I'll leave right now. Just don't have me arrested. You should have thought about that before you violated the order. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I just wanted to see you. You wanted to ruin my date. You wanted to remind me that you exist. Well, congratulations. You succeeded. And now you're going to jail." The police arrived in under 10 minutes. They took Derek outside and I followed with Julian. I explained the restraining order, showed them the court documents on my phone, explained that Derek had approached me against the terms of the order. They arrested him. Right there on the sidewalk, handcuffs and everything. Derek was crying, begging them to let him go, promising he'd leave Seattle. "You should have left Seattle 2 months ago," I said. "This is on you." They put him in the back of the patrol car and I watched them drive away. Julian wrapped his arm around me and I realized I was shaking. "You okay?" he asked softly. "Yeah. Actually, I think I am. For the first time, I really am." We went back inside and finished our dinner. The restaurant comped our meal when they heard what happened. The night was ruined, but also perfect. Because I'd stood up for myself. I protected my peace. And Derek finally faced consequences. It felt like winning. Derek spent 3 days in jail before his lawyer bailed him out. By then, the violation had been reported to the court, and there was a hearing scheduled to determine if the restraining order should be extended or if Derek should face criminal charges. I didn't have to do anything except show up and tell the truth. The police report did the rest. But between Derek's arrest and the hearing, something interesting happened. Information started coming to me. People from Chicago, people who knew Derek, started reaching out. The first message came from Tyler, Derek's colleague who'd laughed at me at the graduation party. It was an email to my work address. "Naomi, I don't know if you remember me, but I wanted to apologize for what happened 3 years ago. I was wrong to laugh. I was wrong to go along with it. Derek is spinning out of control here, and watching it has made me realize how badly we all treated you. You deserved better. I'm sorry." I didn't respond, but I appreciated it. The second message came from Derek's mother, Patricia. She called the hospital and actually got through this time. "Naomi, honey, it's Patricia. Please don't hang up. I need to talk to you about Derek." I should have hung up. But curiosity got the better of me. "What about him?" "He's been fired. From the clinic. They said he was unreliable, missing shifts, showing up late. His whole career is falling apart and he blames you for it." "He should blame himself." "I know. Believe me, I know. I told him the same thing. When he told me what he did, divorcing you at that party, I was horrified. You were the best thing that ever happened to him and he threw you away. I just want you to know that I understand if you never forgive him. And I'm sorry. I should have reached out sooner." "Thank you for saying that," I said. "But Derek's problems aren't my responsibility anymore." "I know. I just wanted you to know that some of us see what really happened. You didn't deserve any of this." The third piece of information came from Amara, who had a friend who had a friend who knew Tessa. The information chain was ridiculous, but the information itself was golden. "Tessa is engaged," Amara said over lunch. "To some cardiologist who's loaded. And apparently she's been telling people that Derek was broke and desperate and that she had to get out before he dragged her down." "Karma," I said and meant it. "There's more. She's been spreading stories about him. Saying he was clingy, unstable, bad at his job. Her new fiancé works at one of the big hospitals in Chicago, and the stories are making the rounds. Derek's reputation is ruined. I should have felt bad for him. But I didn't. He'd made his choices. These were the consequences." The hearing was on a Friday. Derek showed up looking worse than ever. His suit was wrinkled, his eyes hollow. His lawyer did his best, arguing that Derek had made a mistake but didn't deserve criminal charges. The judge wasn't sympathetic. She extended the restraining order to 5 years and ordered Derek to complete anger management and therapy. She also ordered him to stay out of Washington state entirely unless he had written permission from the court. "Mr. Patterson," the judge said, "you were given clear boundaries. You violated them repeatedly. You showed up at Ms. Brooks' workplace, sent intermediaries to contact her, and confronted her at a restaurant. This isn't love. This is obsession. And it stops now. Derek tried to argue, but his lawyer shut him down. The decision was final. After the hearing, Derek approached me one last time in the courthouse hallway. His lawyer tried to stop him, but Derek pushed past. "Are you happy now?" he asked. "I've lost everything because of you." "No," I said calmly. "You lost everything because of you. I didn't make you divorce me. I didn't make you cheat. I didn't make you violate the restraining order. Those were all your choices. I was trying to fix things. You were trying to fix your life by forcing yourself back into mine. That's not the same thing. What am I supposed to do now? I can't work in Chicago. My reputation is destroyed. Tessa has turned everyone against me. I'm alone." "Then I guess you know how I felt 3 years ago. Except I didn't have anyone to blame but you. At least you can look in the mirror and see who's really responsible." "I hate you," he said, and for the first time, I saw genuine hatred in his eyes. "That's fine. Hate me if it makes you feel better. But do it from Chicago and do it silently." His lawyer pulled him away, then apologizing to me. I watched them leave and felt nothing. No anger, no pity, no satisfaction. Just relief that it was over. Julian was waiting outside. When he saw my face, he knew. "It's really over," I said. "Good. Now we can move forward." And we did. Derek went back to Chicago. I heard through the grapevine that he'd ended up at a small clinic in a suburb, making a fraction of what he could have made. His parents were disappointed in him. He'd lost contact with most of his friends. He was exactly as alone as he'd left me, except I'd thrived in my loneliness, and he was drowning in his. I should have felt guilty for not feeling guilty. But I didn't. He'd made his bed. Now he had to sleep in it. 6 months after the final hearing, my life looked nothing like it had when I'd fled Chicago. It looked better than I'd ever imagined possible. The hospital network promoted me again. Not just director of operations anymore. Vice president of operations for the entire Seattle region. 4 hospitals, dozens of clinics, hundreds of employees. My salary tripled. My office had a view of the Space Needle. The day I got the promotion, I called my mother. We hadn't talked much during my marriage to Derek. He'd never liked her, said she was too opinionated, too involved. I'd let him drive a wedge between us because I was stupid and in love. "Baby girl," she said when I told her. "I'm so proud of you." "I should have left him sooner," I said. "I wasted so many years." "You didn't waste them. You learned from them. And look at you now. You're flying." She was right. I was flying. Every day felt like proof that I'd made the right choice in walking away. In staying gone. In refusing to let Derek back in. Work wasn't my only success. Julian and I had been dating for 8 months, and it was serious. He'd met Amara, who approved enthusiastically. I'd met his family, who welcomed me like I'd always been part of them. His mother hugged me the first time we met and whispered, "He's happier than I've ever seen him." Julian and I never talked about marriage. We didn't need to. We were building something together slowly and carefully. He respected my boundaries. He never pushed. He just showed up, consistently and kindly, and let me learn to trust again. In September, I was featured in Healthcare Executive magazine. The article was about innovative leaders in hospital administration, and they'd chosen me as one of 5 profiles. The interview had been intimidating, but the article was glowing. They called me a visionary leader who transformed operations through empathy and efficiency. When the magazine came out, copies showed up at work. Amara brought one to lunch. "You're famous," she said. "Look at you. Vice President. Magazine features. And you're not even 40 yet." "I'm 36. I've got a few years. Still. This is incredible. You should celebrate." That night, Julian took me to dinner. Just the 2 of us at a quiet French restaurant. Halfway through the meal, he reached across the table and took my hand. "I need to tell you something," he said. My heart jumped. "Okay. I'm in love with you. I know we said we'd take things slow, and we are. But I need you to know that I love you. Not the idea of you. Not what you can do for me. Just you." Naomi Brooks. The woman who rebuilt herself from nothing and became extraordinary. I felt tears prick my eyes. Good tears. "I love you too. I want to build a life with you. I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to support your dreams the way you support mine. I want to be your partner, really partner, not just in name." He pulled out a small box and opened it. Inside was a ring. Simple, elegant, a sapphire surrounded by small diamonds. "This isn't a proposal yet," he said. "It's a promise. I'm going to propose for real with a plan and a speech. But I wanted you to have this now as a promise that I'm serious. That I see you, all of you, and I'm not going anywhere. I slid the ring onto my right hand. It fit perfectly. How did you know my size? Amara helped. She's been in on this for weeks. I laughed through tears. I love it. I love you. Does that mean when I do propose for real you'll say yes? Probably. But you should still do the speech. I want to hear it. That night, I posted a photo of the ring on social media. Just the ring, no explanation. Within an hour, the comments flooded in. Congratulations from coworkers, friends, even people I barely knew. And then, a message request from an account I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it, but curiosity made me open it. It was from Derek. I saw your post. I'm happy for you. Really. You deserve good things. I just want you to know that I'm sorry for everything. I understand why you hate me. I hope someday you can forgive me, but I know I don't deserve it. Congratulations on your success. You earned it. D. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I blocked the account and deleted the message. I didn't need his approval or his apology. I didn't need anything from him at all. 3 weeks later, Julian proposed for real. He took me to the San Juan Islands for the weekend, rented a cabin overlooking the water. On Saturday evening, we walked along the beach at sunset. Naomi, he said, stopping suddenly. I practiced a speech. Had it memorized. But now that we're here, all I can think is that I want to spend the rest of my life making you as happy as you make me. He got down on one knee right there in the sand. Pulled out another ring, this one white gold with a diamond that caught the light. Will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life proving that real love exists? That real partnership exists? That you made the right choice in giving me a chance? Yes, I said. Not because I needed to be married, but because I wanted to be married to him. Yes, absolutely yes. He slipped the engagement ring on my finger and kissed me like we had all the time in the world. And we did. All the time in the world to build something real. When we got back to Seattle, the wedding planning started immediately. Small ceremony, close friends and family only. My mother cried when I called to tell her. Amara demanded to be maid of honor. Julian's family welcomed me officially into the fold. 6 months to plan a wedding. 6 months to build the next chapter of my life. 6 months until I became Naomi Torres and left Naomi Brooks behind completely. I couldn't wait. My wedding day was perfect. Not perfect like a magazine spread, but perfect like a dream I didn't know I was allowed to have. The ceremony was at a small venue overlooking Puget Sound. 50 people, all of them people who mattered. My mother looking proud and beautiful. Amara crying before the ceremony even started. Julian's entire family who'd adopted me like I'd always belonged. I wore a simple white dress, nothing fancy. I'd learned that I didn't need fancy. I needed real. The dress was real. The flowers were real. The love in that room was real. Julian cried when he saw me walk down the aisle. Full-on tears, not even trying to hide them. His brother, standing as best man, handed him a tissue. Everyone laughed, and the laughter was warm and genuine. The vows were traditional, but when Julian said, for better or worse, he squeezed my hand 3 times. Our signal. I see you. I'm here. I'm not leaving. At the reception, my mother gave a speech that made everyone cry. My daughter is the strongest person I know, she said. She took betrayal and turned it into fuel. She took pain and turned it into purpose. She took loneliness and turned it into peace. And now she's taking a chance on love again, and I couldn't be prouder. When it was my turn to speak, I'd planned to keep it short. Thank everyone for coming, that kind of thing. But standing there, looking at all those faces, I felt like I needed to say something more. 3 years ago, I thought my life was over. I thought I'd wasted the best years of my life on someone who didn't value them. I thought I was too old, too tired, too broken to start over. I looked at Julian, who was watching me with those warm eyes that had made me feel safe from the first moment. I was wrong about all of it. I wasn't to anything. I was just starting. And the best part of my life wasn't behind me. It was waiting for me here, in this room, with these people, with this man who sees me for who I actually am. I turned to face everyone. If you're in a situation where someone makes you feel small, leave. If you're with someone who treats your love like an obligation instead of a gift, leave. If you're giving everything and getting nothing back, leave. I promise you there's something better waiting. You just have to be brave enough to go find it. Amara started clapping, and soon the whole room joined in. Julian stood up and kissed me, and the photographer caught it. That photo ended up being my favorite from the whole day. Us together, surrounded by people who loved us, choosing each other every day. Later that night, during the dancing, my phone buzzed. I'd left it in my purse, but Amara brought it over. "You've got a message," she said. "Should I look?" "Go ahead." She looked and her face got hard. "It's from an unknown number. Says, 'Congratulations. I mean it. Be happy. I'm sorry for everything. This is goodbye.'" Then there's a block of text that looks like it was written by someone drunk or desperate. Derek. Of course. Even on my wedding day he couldn't resist. "Want me to read it to you?" Amara asked. "No. Delete it." "You sure? Might be closure." "I don't need closure from him. I need him to stay deleted from my life." Amara smiled and deleted the message. "Done. Now get back to your husband." "Your husband. I like the sound of that." Julian and I danced until midnight. Then we snuck away to the hotel, leaving our guests still celebrating. In our room, overlooking the water, Julian held me close. "I meant what I said in my vows," he whispered. "I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret this." "I won't," I promised. "I know what regret feels like now. This isn't it." We fell asleep wrapped around each other, and for the first time in longer than I could remember, I didn't have a single nightmare. The honeymoon was 2 weeks in Hawaii. We snorkeled, hiked, ate too much food, and did absolutely nothing productive. It was wonderful. When we got back to Seattle, life resumed. But it was different now. I went to work every day at a job I loved. I came home every night to a man who valued me. I had friends who showed up when I needed them. I had a mother I talked to every week. I had a life that was mine. 6 months after the wedding, Julian and I bought a house. Not huge, but perfect for us. 3 bedrooms, a yard, space for a home office for both of us. We spent weekends painting walls and planting a garden. We talked about maybe someday kids. But there was no rush. We had time. A year after the wedding, I got another promotion. This time to regional vice president, overseeing operations for 5 states. The salary was absurd. The opportunity was incredible. I said yes immediately. At my celebration dinner, Julian raised his glass. "To my wife, who proves every day that success isn't about where you start. It's about where you refuse to stop." That night I thought about Derek. Not with anger or regret, but with something like gratitude. He'd broken me, yes. But breaking had forced me to rebuild myself into someone stronger. Someone who knew her worth. Someone who wouldn't settle. I wondered sometimes if he was happy. If he'd learned anything. If he'd ever found someone who could tolerate him long enough to build something real. But mostly, I didn't think about him at all. 3 years after my wedding, I was sitting in my office when Amara called. "You'll never believe who I just saw," she said. "Who?" "Derek is here. In Seattle. At the hospital." My blood went cold. "Why?" "He's applying for a position. I saw his name on the interview list." "Forward me that list." She did. And there it was. Derek Patterson, MD, applying for an attending position in internal medicine. I called HR immediately. "This is Naomi Torres. I need you to flag an applicant. Derek Patterson. He has a restraining order against him that prohibits him from being in Washington state without court permission. If he shows up for an interview, security needs to escort him out and call the police." "I'll handle it right away," the HR director said. An hour later she called back. He withdrew his application. Said there was a conflict of interest he hadn't known about. "Thank you." Derek had tried one more time to invade my life. And once again I'd stopped him. But this time I didn't feel angry or scared. I felt nothing. He was a ghost of a past life, and ghosts had no power over me anymore. That night I told Julian what happened. "You want me to do something about it?" he asked. "No. It's handled. He's gone. Again." "Good. Because I have something more important to tell you." He looked nervous, which was unusual for Julian. He was always so steady. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Nothing's wrong. Everything's right, actually. I've been working on something for months. A surprise." He pulled out a folder full of architectural drawings. Plans for a house. Our dream house, the one we talked about building someday. "I bought the land," he said. "Right on the water like you wanted. And I drew up the plans. Every room designed around what we talked about. Your office with the big windows. A reading nook for Sunday mornings. Space for kids if we decide we want them. Space for us to grow old together." I looked at the drawings and started crying. "When? We can break ground next month. Move in by next year." "It's perfect," I whispered. "You're perfect." "No, I'm not. But I'm perfect for you. And you're perfect for me. And that's enough." 5 years after Derek handed me divorce papers at his graduation party, I stood in the frame of my dream house, watching the sun set over Puget Sound. Julian was next to me, his arm around my waist, talking about where the furniture would go. I thought about the woman I'd been. Exhausted, undervalued, invisible. I thought about the night I'd driven away with no plan except to disappear. I disappeared from Derek's life. But I hadn't disappeared from my own. I'd found it instead. Found myself. Found my worth. Found love that didn't require sacrifice, only partnership. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I knew who it was before I even looked. I heard you're building a house. I'm happy for you. I really am. I hope you know that I'm sorry. I'll always be sorry. D. I deleted it without responding. Then I blocked the number. Then I put my phone away and focused on the sunset, on Julian's arm around me, on the life I'd built from the ashes of the one I'd left behind. Derek Patterson could be sorry for the rest of his life. It wouldn't change anything. I'd moved on. I'd thrived. I'd won. Not by getting revenge. Not by making him suffer. But by refusing to let his actions define my future. By choosing to be happy. By choosing myself, every single day until choosing myself became as natural as breathing. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Julian kissed my temple and whispered, "This is it. This is our forever." And for the first time in my entire life, forever didn't sound scary. It sounded like a promise I was ready to keep.